Yeah, I love talking about Joy Hour. It is a great event we do, and it's spreading across the country. The Joy Hour is creating a culture of connection. In a sober environment, we have all kinds of events and activities, but it really is creating a culture of connection. Our focus is addiction prevention, also addiction recovery, mental health, hope, and healing through connection. If you'd like to get involved, please go to theconsiderategroup.com/Joy Hour.
Fourth Wednesday,
Yes, it is.
new location, baby.
4 p.m. Excited. Junior Achievement Building. It's a big deal.
It is.
It's a nice venue. Excited. Well, I'm pumped to have you in the studio on the Joy Hour podcast. You and I go way back and know a lot about each other, and just doing this recording and going with whatever comes to our mind today.
Oh, man.
I love being authentic and just not having notes, and that's what we're doing today is just have the audience get to know who is Gerald Smiley and how did we meet and what's going on kind of in our two worlds that are quite often overlapping. And I think when that happens, it shows that the two people have a very similar heart. I know your heart,
Well,
but for the audience, start wherever you want. Just tell them, it's Gerald.
well, I appreciate you having me on. It's been a blessing to support you and your team at Joy Hour and just your vision. Right? A lot of people see with sight, just with their eyes in front of them, and you see with your vision, you see with your heart. So we appreciate everything that you're doing in the community and the overlapping of what you were just touching on. It speaks to the alignment also of being a community person, right? Born and raised in Seattle, White Center, actually. My mom and dad didn't really have a whole lot. And in saying that, the community helped my mother and father, pay for whether it was sports shoes or travel to a tournament. We needed flights paid for or just our sports teams. It's just so expensive to keep up. So the community aspect has always been engraved in myself at a very early age. So when I see you out in the community always in what you're doing, it just speaks volume of who you are as a person. But yeah, at the end of the day, I played football, basketball, baseball growing up. God gave us some talent, and He tells you to multiply your talents. Right. And if it wasn't for other athletes in the community, Will Conroy, Nate Robinson, Jamal Crawford, Brandon Roy, Nate Burleson, those guys, if it wasn't for other people in the community pushing you, making you a better athlete, then I don't think I was able to take my talents to where God said to go. So I had the ability to be pushed by some great athletes in the community and chose baseball out of high school, got drafted to the Texas Rangers in the 9th round of the MLB draft, and was blessed to have that opportunity. It was short of 5 years, got hurt. You become a bad investment to the company after too many surgeries, and you got to go. So coached college for 8 years and scouted for Major League Baseball team for 7 after that. And but through all of that, I was still grounded in community. Even when I played, I loved going to read at schools or go to hospitals, and whatever was asked of us, we would make sure we answered that call because I was that kid growing up.
Right.
And so I never fall short of how do I lift up somebody else or how do I help somebody else. I believe that's our calling in life. If you know your why and you can marry it with your purpose, I feel you're truly unstoppable. But why do you wake up every day?
Right.
What's your purpose?
Yeah.
And then when you can do that, I feel like you're on to something great. Because we're all on borrowed time, Tom.
Yeah, man.
We're all on borrowed
Just
time.
a blink.
Yeah.
Just a flash. I want to jump in there so I don't forget this, but what I know and what I feel every time I'm around you is encouragement.
I appreciate
I mean that sincerely.
Likewise.
I wasn't going to the gym for a long time. Being in recovery, the first year was all about just staying sober for me. And not relapsing. And then finally about a year in, I'm like, okay, now I got to get my fitness back. And I would watch some of your videos. I'm like, man, he's there. Man, he's there. Man, it's early morning. He's there. He's there. I watched those for months, probably. I don't know how long. And finally I got a membership. And I see you often. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You bring your kids every day with you too.
That's what I'm getting to is, man, you know, my youngest Clark, of course, and just the way he says, anytime your name comes up, Gerald, he gets lit up. And I think it was as simple as one of the joy hours, you playing air hockey with him. And as a father, that means a lot to me when he sees another man in the community where it brings joy, it brings optimism, it brings encouragement to him. He's only 8 years old, but out of the heart of a child and out of the mouth of a child, you know what they think about certain adults.
Amen.
They'll show it, they'll say it. Yeah. And he's always been like, Gerald, and you'll see him at the gym, and you always do the eye contact and hey, Clark, and you make him feel special. And of course, my oldest, 16 years old, but you do that with a lot of people. Every time I'm around you, I'm seeing you use any opportunity to use your voice, use your love, and show it through speaking into other people's lives. And that takes being intentional. Like you said, when you wake up, what's your why? Amen. So keep it up, and just know that as father, you've impacted me, you've impacted my kids, and I could go on and on about the many people I've watched you at different events all through the community, schools you go to, the Joy Hour event, of course, you go to, and you're constantly speaking positive. And I know you go through stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I know you're not always on cloud nine.
No,
it's
never.
right,
Never.
but the world needs more of that, where we're picking each other up.
Amen.
And I just think as we go into next year, I think you and I will probably be seeing each other more often.
100%.
There's times you're gonna need to lift me up, bro.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah.
When I honestly, man, when I first met you, I was going through a lot of depression when I first met you.
Yeah.
And the Joy Hour actually pumped more into me at that time than I thought it would. I always do things and go places with an open mind, but when I heard Joy Hour and you were telling me what it was about, I wasn't expecting what was actually there, right? The love you felt from everybody, the connection that everyone was making. Put your cell phones away. Let's just be engaged. Let's involve ourselves with what's really in front of us right now, today, because that's what matters. And I lost my grandfather May 12, 2017. My mom died right after that on my birthday in 2017. Then I lost my dad a year and a half after that in 2018. And at that moment in my life, like the three most influential people who taught me everything. And at that time in my life, I'm like, dang, there's going to be other chapters in my life that I'm going to need to go to those three people, and I can't do that anymore, right? So I would say that put me in a funk for quite a few years, and then COVID hit, and then we're all locked down, and we're in the house, and everything's isolated, and it was just compounding, and it really hit me one day. My daughter said, hey, are we going to Joy Hour today before school? And I turned to my wife. I said, did you hear that? And she said, what? I said, she asked if we were going to Joy Hour. Because she never remembers what day of the week it is, right? She doesn't. She just doesn't. And she was like, today's Wednesday. It's Joy Hour.
Right.
And then I was like, wow. And we're so busy in our lives, and sometimes we forget to stop and take time for what we need to take time, because we're building, and you're an entrepreneur, right? Who else is going to do it?
Right.
And as an entrepreneur, you don't really have set hours. You just know it has to get done, right? So when she came downstairs and said that, I was like, wow. There's a few reasons she's saying that. A, she wants us to spend more time with her, because she always goes to her room after school, and teenagers are different now. I don't want to call them weird. They're just different. Yeah. And they like to just sit in the room. And that was affecting her, though, going home and just sitting in her room and being on her phone and watching YouTube and all that. So I was asking my wife, I said, maybe she's asking us to spend more time with her while we were letting her just be her, or she feels some other type of love and connection at the Joy Hour, or maybe it's both. So for me, that was huge. And that really opened my mind further to say, okay, I need to check on my daughter. I'm going through what I'm going through, but I need to really check on her. So that was big. That was big. So I appreciate what you're doing. And anyone listening and watching this, they I'm going to say they need. I won't say suggest they need to get involved. They have no idea how it will hit them. They have no idea how it will transform things in their life that they probably didn't even know was happening in their own or their children. But also to be a blessing to somebody else, even if they don't have anything that they feel is going on.
Yeah.
But a lot of people do mask it. And I was one of those people who masked it for a long time. And now vulnerable enough to just let everyone know it's okay to not feel okay. You know, and we need to normalize men, especially not being okay. You know, I feel women have more of an outlet sometimes because they talk to their girlfriends about pretty much everything, anything. And well, swerving down, they didn't say nothing, you know. So, but as men, we're taught to be tough, don't cry, don't be a sissy, don't be whatever, you know, you're called in. That's just not true, you know. And I think that's where the mental health issues continue to spiral in human beings.
100%.
You know, you're compounding your own thoughts in your head, and a lot of people will tell you something's wrong and only listen to you for a couple of minutes and then say, hey, pop this pill.
Yep.
It'll fix it.
Yep.
And then I look at the big pharma world and I'm like, okay, wait, if I thought myself into depression, can I think my way out of it too? By getting up, going to the gym, starting my day how I should start it. When we have YouTube, we didn't have that when we were growing up. You know, can you set your mind intentionally for the day? What are we doing? We all have 24 hours in a day.
Right.
What are we doing with our time? And if we can adjust that, we can adjust our diet, we can adjust our circles. I feel strongly we can get out of certain situations that are in our head. But if we don't do that, then I think we're in trouble.
I love this type of talk. You know, it's what brings awareness. You know, every one of us has a cell phone. It comes down to, does it control us or do we control it? Every one of us could stay inside 24/7, or we can go on a hike or go to the ocean or go to the lake, or, you know, some of the best things in life are free. Just grab some stale bread and go feed the ducks.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're like, you know what? Like, I'm having a good day now. But you stay inside, you keep staring at the phone and keep scrolling, and it gets ugly. And I think through COVID and through more and more awareness of the impact of phones, we got to be so vigilant about talking about this amongst ourselves, especially fathers. You know, there's so many fathers I talk to, like, yeah, my kid's just always on the video game or always on the phone. And I politely will, out of love, look at him and say, did your 8-year-old buy the iPhone? Because I'm pretty sure he didn't have $1,000 to go buy an iPhone. You bought him the iPhone, Dad. Yeah. So maybe I'll take it away, limit it, you know. And so we have brought on this thing that is so easy for me to let my kids. I got 3 kids, you know, and hey, you know, I'm tired or I'm busy. Go play your games. Go. And they'll be like, can we have electronics, Dad? Can we have electronics, Dad? But what I've seen is when we do a Joy Hour and the many other community events that you do, and I've attended a few others, when you watch any age person, but especially kids, and they're outside and there's baseball, kickball, feeding the ducks, anything outside, and 2 people connecting, especially a mentor to a teenager, they don't ask for the Xbox. They don't ask for the iPhone. They'll play until midnight. They'll play in the rain. They'll play. They want that connection. And so the heart of a child is really in all of us. I think back to why I'd get, you know, drinking and drugging. I wanted to feel like a kid again. You know, like, hey, bro, I love you. And it was real at the moment, I thought, but it wasn't as real as it is now when I can truly say that to somebody and I'm sober and say, hey, I do love you. I'm having a great time shooting pool right now. And hey, let's get together for lunch. And you build these deeper relationships. But there's all these walls that happened in life that we built where we don't trust each other for a while. But I believe we're building better community. Of course, Auburn, Bellevue, Seattle, here we come, you know, spreading these type of things all over and having this awareness of having eye contact at the same time as eating together, playing a game together, and looking at the next generation saying, you're important. I see you. I value you, and I see you, and you're beautiful, and you're handsome, and you got potential. Look at me. Keep eye contact. You do that with everybody, and I've been doing better at that. With just, hey, this is the moment. This might be the only time you have to speak into that person's life. And let them know, like, hey, eyes up. How you doing? I'm looking at you. I want to see how you're doing.
Yeah.
And when they feel special, then they want to come back. By nature, though, by default, of course, it's easy to go, well, just here's a phone, here's a video game. But I think we have such a job to do as men and fathers, and to have those conversations about the impact of social media and video games, and to speak into their lives out of love and say, you're right, let's go outside. And it takes effort. There's times I get home, I'm tired. It's like, hey, let me have a cup of coffee real quick, take a shower, and then we'll go outside and play catch.
And we'll feed the ducks.
Right. Exactly.
Tom loved his duck. He got a green duck shirt too. It's Joy Hour, but it's green duck.
I know. Well, there's a pond just a few minutes from my house, and there's so many times I think back to the best memories I've had with my kids, and it's been, they grab a pocket knife, we grab some duck food, and we go over there for 30, 40 minutes, sometimes an hour, and I'm like, why don't I do that once a week? When all of a sudden 3 months have gone by, and they want that connection, and I do too. I want that time. If there's anything we're going to ask for when that day comes and the doctor says your time is winding down, I'm going to say, just more time. Just want a little more time. And who's that with? If I want a little more time with Gerald, well, when I'm with Gerald, why am I staring at my phone the whole lunchtime? If I'm having lunch with you, like, let's talk, and live in that moment. And I think spending time, at hospitals brings an awareness to us. Life is fragile. Life is short, but this next generation and ours, needs these type of conversations about our mental health, and how, like you said, you can kind of control it, based on the intake of what you put into your eyes and put into your ears.
It's important. I see a lot of kids when I speak at schools, and one of the first things I ask them, because we talk about entrepreneurship, and they have technology inventions and other inventions. So we help them build their ideas and framework how that should really, the path they should take. It's up to them what they do with it. But there's a lot of successful high school kids out here who are going to change this world with what they're doing. And I say, okay, are you really married to that? Do you really own that idea? And if you do, pull out your phone and show me your screen time. And all the kids in the class, they show me their screen time. And I talk at like 9:30 or 10 in the morning in these classes. And some of these kids already have like 6 or 8 hours of screen time, and it's 10 o'clock. And I'm like, wait, then school start like at 7 or 8. Like, how do you have 6 hours of screen time already? So when you're going back to the 24 hours in a day, to me, any progress is still progress. But are you really making progress in anything or any area of your life if it's consumed with this? I feel, doesn't mean I'm right, but you're either scrolling and getting educated, or you're scrolling and getting brainwashed.
Yeah.
To me, even entertainment, right? Some of it's just funny.
Yeah.
Okay, but now that funny scrolling is 6 hours. So in my mind, you're getting brainwashed to sit here for 6 hours and make TikTok and Instagram and whoever else more money while you're just sitting here wasting your time.
Right.
And it's going back to your time that you're talking about. And at the end of the day, being able to put yourself on a consistent daily routine, blocking off, my phone's on do not disturb all day long. Literally, I have a list of people who can actually get through.
Yeah, that's good.
Because I don't want to be distracted. I can't be distracted. And what we're building and where we're headed is not allowing me to go back to where I was in life, which was distracted.
Yeah.
So
in the distraction, it's easy to want to get distracted. Just take your mind off of bills and stress and financial issues or relationship issues, and we're back to that kind of anxiety and depression situation where it's like, I don't want to feel this way, so pop a pill. I don't want to feel away, let's chug this, let's drink this, smoke this, shoot this, snort this. And there's all these different things in the world. And I tell people, I was an addict for many, many years, and I knew how to control my feelings. I'm a tough contractor. I don't have feelings like that. What are you talking about? I bottled up my feelings, and then I bottled them up at night, and then I did my substance during the day to keep me going, and I controlled the feelings. And then when I finally sobered up, it's like, I don't like this feeling of depression today. What do I do with it? And in most cases, actually last Saturday, I was having a rough Saturday. We're slow on work right now, and I don't know where my guys are going next week, and just a lot of pressure of the business owner in construction right now. And finally, I got my butt outside. I grabbed a rake and started raking leaves, put in my earbuds and listened to a positive podcast. And it was still about 30 minutes, and finally it started to break. In about an hour, I was like, I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
So it can be controlled by going outside and sweating, whether it's sports or whether it's yard work. But the indoors and the screen time is really killing us as humans. And then we don't trust each other. We don't connect with each other. We're just way too connected to our device. And it is, I think, the number one driver of the mental health issues. And from the mental health issues comes the addiction issues. If my mental health is solid, my relationships are solid, I'm a lot more likely not to need to run to a pill or a substance and change the way I feel. I'm comfortable with my own skin. I mean, this is who I am. Today I feel down, and I recognize that. Today I feel up, and I recognize that, and I've got a feelings wheel at my house.
Let's go.
100 words on there.
Oh, really?
So I'll look. Yeah, it's just the feelings wheel.
Yeah, send a picture. Send it.
Absolutely. It tells me. It's like, where are you at today? Are you optimistic? Are you depressed? Do you feel insecure? Are you violated? Are you scared? So many of our issues comes out of fear of rejection.
That's huge.
If I don't look at you and I'm more comfortable looking at my phone as I'm in the elevator or I'm walking through life, I'm more comfortable here. I might be scared that if I make eye contact with you in the elevator and I don't know you and I say hi, that you might ignore me. So that's rejection. So if I'm afraid of a rejection, I'm not even going to reach out. I'm just going to stay right here. I trust this, I know this, I control this, but I don't control other people, and I don't trust other people, because last time I did, it hurt, and we don't like hurt. But fear is the number one driver of so many deep-rooted addiction and depression and mental health issues, and I think we just need to be that light, be those voices. I know your voice is strong, you do a lot of things. One thing came to mind I was going to ask you. You've done and still do a lot of volunteer and service work. What's your why on that? What drives you to make that sacrifice of time and fuel and finances to go do something for others that can do nothing back in return for you?
Yeah, it goes back to my childhood. I was a kid in the food bank lines with my mom. I was a kid who had the free and reduced lunch at school, the sack lunches at the summer camps, and just seeing, I grew up in affordable housing, had a roof over my head. There was days where we'd come home, the water wasn't on, but the lights were on. And we'd come home, the lights weren't on, but the water was on. There was days my mom would cook a meal and not turn the heater on and leave the oven open and say, "Boy, don't you turn on that heat? I got the oven open." So at the end of the day, it's like, wow, I've been in a lot of shoes. I've been, my mother's white, my dad's African American, and I've had the best and worst of both sides in society. And I feel like when you do something for others, for one, it'll automatically lift you up, period, point blank, no matter what kind of day you're having.
Huge shout out to Zekin. They are doing amazing things to help us, and they will help you. For more information, hit here.
But I also feel, again, on borrowed time, being a part of your community is a necessity. Just showing up every now and then to something, if people have, that's the time they have, that's still showing up for your community. but I have no problem answering the call to say, yes, I'll be there, or moving something to say, yes, I'll be there. We do a lot with the Bonnie Lake food market out there with Stacy. Stacy's amazing.
It is.
And that's somebody I think you should definitely get on your show. But
Yeah.
she makes everyone feel welcome. It doesn't feel like a food link when you walk in there. It's like a fresh market. There's fresh produce.
It's beautiful.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It looks like a real market. It doesn't
Yeah.
look like a food bank. So just letting other people know that there's other people out here who love you and care about you. You're not going through this alone.
Right.
Is another reason why I love showing up. But it's also aligned with showing our children, hey, look, you have this, you have that, but look at all the other people who don't have what you have, and when people look at other countries and what's going on over there, we should feel really blessed that those things aren't happening here. There's other things happening here, but we can be a part of the solution. A lot of people talk about the problem.
Yeah.
But how do you come up with solutions and stop saying the same thing that everyone else is saying just to say it?
Yeah.
And people smell those kind of people from a mile away. It just, whether you're a politician or whoever you are, you're saying the same stuff. Like, who's in the community actually doing the work?
What's your motive? And you can see right through in just a few minutes, usually, to the heart of someone.
Oh.
What's your why? A lot of business owners, hey, they start the business to make millions and buy a yacht and retire. Well, that's the whole point of the business. And there's others that they dream of some prosperity, nothing wrong with that, but they want their employees to be blessed.
Yeah.
They want their clients to be, we want a win-win situation in all their relationships. So it's a relational concept, and hey, prosperity comes, that's awesome. But the most successful people are the ones that are not just, I built this for me and my empire, but I do this as a way to bring in income to bless other, because it costs money. Everything we do, gas, it's outrageous. And you go somewhere and support an event, that alone is $30, $40 in fuel plus food, $100, $200 out of your pocket just to go just to be a part of something, let alone like you do, bringing things. And so you do a lot. And I thought about touching on the list of things that I know, but the market you mentioned, phenomenal out there, Bonnie Lake, of course, Mission Outdoors, you're a big part of that. And I just see a lot of things and hear a lot of things that you're doing. And man, how many hours has he got in a day? He's always out doing something. But
my wife gets on me sometimes. She's like, hey, can we just stay home today?
Yeah.
Like, do we have to go to every Mariners game? Do we have to go to every volunteer opportunity?
Yeah.
But that's just me. It's weird. You go back to building companies, to make millions and do this and do that. Technology fell into my lap.
Right.
And like it did. I'm a jock. I know nothing about technology. I've learned a lot now, though. But I was at Rainier Beach High School as the baseball coach in 2017. And this was the time where my mom was sick and not doing well, right? And they were going to close the baseball program down because there was no funding, there was no turnout. And I was like, I can't let that happen. And they'd called me plenty of times in the past and say, hey, will you come? But at that time, I was still coaching college and still trying to build a resume. And then in my mind, I was like, okay, well, if I go take that job right now at that part of my life, you're not building a successful program that's winning. So who's going to hire you for your next job, right? Mm-hmm. But I was also living in Texas at the time. So fast forward 2017, I take the program over, we get our staff in place, and I find out we're negative $300 in the budget. And I was like, holy crap, what do? I have no balls, I have no bats, I have no bags, I have like 8 jerseys. You need 9 to play. Like, kids are borrowing jerseys, right? And we don't have L screens, we don't have a batting cage, nothing. And administration was like, go talk to Jamal, go talk to Nate Robinson, go ask them to give you money. And I'm like, no, you guys are wired the wrong way in my mind. Why do I have to go say, yo, Jamal, yo, Nate, can you help me? Now, could I and would they probably do it? Yes, because they love the kid and they will help the kids. Mm-hmm. But my instinct is, hey, let's help the kids, show them some work ethic in the community. So man, I grabbed their jerseys. I grabbed trash bags. We went to businesses in the community and said, hey, we'll clean this up. We wrote our tax ID letter. Would you make any contribution to our baseball program? And our kids worked for it. And then someone was like, you should throw up a GoFundMe. And I was like, I didn't know what GoFundMe was. Yeah. And I've never given money online because I don't trust it. Right. So I throw up a GoFundMe while we're doing all this. And by the grace of God, local businesses, they supported. Gates Foundation gave us money. Seattle Foundation gave us money. Stone Gossard from Pearl Jam gave us $1,000. And the rest of the community just chipped in what they could. And so we raised $18,000 in 7 days, $42,000 in 28 days. The community did that. Gerald Smiley didn't do that. So I woke up from a dream March 3rd, 2018, 1:30 in the morning. I got a lot of pushback from administration, though. They wanted to use some of my funds for other sports. And I said, no, that's not what we did this for. And two, that's illegal. I had a lot of pushback from the school district regarding raising more funds. I had 500 construction contractors wanted to give us $500 for banner ads. Right. I was going to put apprenticeship and employment opportunities on the banners, right? Sure. In the heart of Rainier Beach, in the community where a lot of people are looking for employment or better employment. That's $250,000. A GoFundMe can't sustain that model. There's just no way. And these contractors have to renew that. Really? If to keep it up next year. So long story short, I woke up from a dream, March 3rd, 2018, 1:30 in the morning. God said, start typing in your Excel spreadsheet. I was like, whoa, why? And at that time, I was like, okay, God, you gave me $42,000 in a platform over 30 days. What if you gave me 12 months? Good. And then, so the vision, we started a company called Chip In. It's a fintech fundraising platform where we help celebrities, athletes, businesses, and community members come together in one ecosystem. We can incentivize and reward people to do good in their community. We can raise money for their social media followers. We can help them with housing. We can help them with their bills. We can help them with investments. But it didn't start that way. It started with, if everybody in every state just donated 1 hour of their pay one time a year, here's how many schools after we break that down. So I went online and I said, okay, each state has this population, each state has this many public schools, and this is what their minimum wage is. And if everyone did this, year one, we could divide that money up between this many schools. Yeah. And if year two, they did it twice, year three, and then so God just kept telling me, you're onto something. That's not what I'm really pointing you to. Right. Keep going, keep going. So I kept digging. And I bring that up because we always want to do things on our time. Sometimes God's saying, hey, look, I got something bigger for you over there, right? You ever seen that picture where the little girl's crying because she wants this little teddy bear? But God's saying, wait a minute, and he's got this ginormous teddy bear behind his back. Yeah. So my thinking in the beginning was so small. Like, everyone doesn't care about public schools, education. So what's your reach? So God got us in front of an incubator in Redmond, and they screwed us over. Okay. So we built the web. We helped raise $3 million for Federal Way School District. We helped 110 organizations, but they wanted to try to take my idea and tell me what they wanted. Sure. But that was for the greed. So going back to why you build business, I didn't build Chip In to say, hey, how do we nickel and dime every single person and squeeze money out of people? Our platform gives you 100% of what you raise. Right? We don't need your money. We don't want to take a percentage of what you're donating. Your money should go where it needs to go. Right. So fast forward, we launch next month on
Chip In.
Yeah, Chip In.
Chip In.
Yeah.
Okay.
They can go to go chip CHIP -in.com. and they'll be able to download it from there. It'll be on iOS, Apple, and Android. But we also tie celebrities and athletes around campaigns, and we put B2C sales through social giving. So there's a community that just wants to serve and give, and then there's a community that says, well, what's in it for me if I pull out my wallet?
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure we connected that through FinTech. So
One more time on that. Chip In is the name.
Chip In.
And how do I find it?
Go chip-in.com, and then if you have an Android or iOS next month, you'll be able to just search Chip In.
Awesome.
Hit download, join our community, and whether you need financial assistance or you want to help somebody with financial assistance, you're able to do so. And you get a tax write-off from the palm of your hand by just helping somebody else who might need help. And we don't put the money in your pocket, though. You need help with your light bill, we pay your light bill. You need help with paying your rent or your car from getting repoed, we do that.
Gotcha.
Child need help with sports fees, we could do that too.
That's awesome. Can't wait to learn more about that. And, the topic of finances is so interesting. You want to see somebody's heart, see how they do when there's no money, and then see how they do when there is. And then even if there's a lot, people can change.
Facts.
And business partners and stuff, they start out best friends, and this is going to be great. And then things don't go good, and you find the real heart and character of a person. Or things go real good, and then there's resentment, and there's misunderstandings. And finances are so tricky, but important to, keep your heart right. The Bible talks about that. You guard your heart, for out of it are all the issues of life. And greed and power and money, it's what
real.
Controls a lot of what goes on in our world. Like you say, the pharmaceuticals, go on and on about that. But back to some other volunteer things too. Thank you so much. A good friend of ours, Mike Flood.
Yeah.
He shared this with me, and it's just a touching thing. But you made me think of it when you're talking there. I slept and I dreamt that life was joy. What a lot of us did when we were young. You're young, you're ambitious, you're about to start your career path or whatever it is, and buy a car, and nothing wrong with that. But that's how it is. I slept and I dreamt that life was joy. I woke at some point in life and realized life is service. I acted, and behold, service was joy. And these are also the opportunities that come out of the community events you do. Of course, the Joy Hour movement. We provide a lot of volunteer opportunities. We need other like-minded adults with a good heart to say, hey, I'll bring the chips. Hey, I'll set up the chairs. Hey, I'll clean up. Hey, I'll be there early. I'll stay late. I got you. The Joy Hour is meant to be across the entire world. Very easy to talk about. The whole world knows what happy hour is. For a lot of us that are going through grief and loss and loneliness and addictions and different things, we need a Joy Hour atmosphere in our communities where we party without substance and alcohol and screens everywhere. We just, a lot more eye contact. So it's a very easy thing to picture across the entire world. New York City, let's go. Florida, let's go. It's a very easy concept, but to do that, it needs people with the same heart where it's not about me. I've always told everybody Joy Hour is not about Tom Lyman. I get hit by a bus today, you better just keep reading that mission statement. What's the mission? What's the mission? What's the mission? And keep it going and love people. Look them in the eye. I got you. I love you. Bring it in, bro. It's all right. As long as there's breath, there's hope. I don't care what you're going through. I got you. I love you. And if we continue to have these type of discussions like we have today, it's been beautiful, about the impact of social media, about saying no to things that are just going to pop a pill, about going outside, about loving each other, about seeing each other. I see you. I got you. I see you're down today. Come on, give me a hug. A lot of people, they say they're not huggers, but you know what?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's a hugger at some point. They just haven't trusted enough. And so you got to break through that barrier. But it is our job at this phase of life to say, you know what? Let's use every minute of every day to make an effort to catch eyes and eye contact with the person at the gas station, the person in the elevator, the person at the store. I read a book last week, and it talks about this gentleman. He goes, I don't go to the grocery store to get groceries. No. I go to the grocery store to meet people. Now, while I'm there, I get some groceries. Yeah. It's a whole different mindset. Why? Because other people matter. Yeah. And if you treat each other like that, guess what? You're going to start being around people that treat you like that. And it's a nice two-way street. Not everybody's like that. Guard your heart. Be careful. Love everybody, but distance yourself from the ones that are about me, in my pocket. My name's got to be on everything, and fame and fortune, and that's not success.
That's a good segue into you have to eliminate people out of your circle. And when I use the word eliminate, doesn't mean you can't love them from a distance.
Good.
But it does mean you have to stop spending time and energy around certain people. And it comes from within your own family quicker than it does anywhere else. And whoever's watching this right now, you have to be okay with saying, okay, here's my boundary. No to alignment if it doesn't align with where I see the rest of my life going. And say, you know what, enough is enough. But here's my plan. Here's what God said my why is. Here's my purpose. Anything that does not fit in that, keep moving. And that's where depression sets in, because you're making some tough you're making some tough calls, and you're making some tough decisions that I need to remove myself from you. It could be a spouse, it could be a brother, sister, cousin, grandmother, grandfather, whoever it is. And they'll turn on you because you want better, you want to move on, and you don't want to be sucked in or drawn into what the cycle that your family is doing. You want to be the one making the change for the rest of your family moving forward and anybody behind you. And God didn't give the vision to them. So no one's going to care about your vision the way you do. It's not their baby. So whoever's watching this, love yourself enough to say no more.
I have boundaries.
Yeah.
I love you. And they'll, a lot of times those people, they'll come around. They'll go through a moment, and I'm glad we caught our moments long before it's, you're 80, 90 years old, and then you go, oh, I wish I would have.
Well,
we're both in our 40s.
And we're both working on it ourselves. Just because we have to remove ourselves from other people don't mean we don't have things that are still going on inside of us.
Right.
But how do I fix myself? How do I heal if I'm continuing to allow you to bring in the stuff that I'm trying to heal from, but you want to keep doing that?
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, it's powerful, man.
I thought about something last week, success. So when I was 18, 19, I moved out when I was 17, started working full time. Success was getting a truck and getting my own house. And success was buying a house.
The American dream.
Yes. And then you get in your 40s, you've been through some stuff, you're like, success looks a little different. I don't need that type of car. I could be fine in a minivan. You get this paradigm shift perspective. And then I got to thinking, when I'm in my 80s, success is going to be, I made it to the bathroom, right?
Yeah, for real.
What's going to matter at that
Each chapter
point?
changes.
It don't matter what kind of watch you have. And, I love the Steve Jobs quote that pops up once in a while about, what he sees at that point. I just don't want to be that guy that, God forbid, at 56 years old is diagnosed with 2 months to live. And I'm going, I only got 2 months. What's it all about? It's one more day playing catch with my kid. It's one more conversation with my friend Gerald. I mean, it's living in the moment like I have right now. That's all I got. And this is, the highlight of me even meeting you today on this podcast wasn't even as much about the audience or the podcast show, although we love you all.
Yeah.
It's about hanging out, Gerald. We get to know you more. I see you. We have parallel roads. I'm looking forward to this next level next year. January 24th kicks off the Joy Hour at the Junior Achievement Building in Auburn, Washington.
4 p.m.
It's going to be huge. Something for all ages, from bouncy houses to board games to pool, ping pong, basketball. It's going to be very exciting. Great barbecue from Mission Outdoors and Rolling Smoke. They're going to be bringing all that.
That barbecue's amazing.
Lots of donations, lots of people stepping up and getting involved. Our dream vision is to start being able to find funding so we can go back to once a week. Right now we're going to do once a month, so it's the fourth Wednesday of every month. But you said earlier something about Joy Hour and I just want to clarify, that's a we. Okay? I can't do this without a lot of brothers and sisters that have the resources and the talent and the ability and mainly the heart to say, we're doing it for this mission of letting people know you're not alone. Where are you at today? How are you today? I'll see you next week. You got this. And I need you as many times as you can to be there and spread that love, spread that word to people. Just excited about this show today. We're going to do more of these.
It's going to be amazing too, though. That's that bigger teddy bear thing I was talking about earlier, right?
It was tough. For 7 months, we had all our stuff in storage. We went to the park. We did the best we could. We lost our building.
I had to pause for a minute, and now look where you're at.
I was crying. I was going, God, what happened? I'm paying for storage to store the Joy Hour equipment. What's going on?
Yeah.
And to be kicked out of a building, basically, and all of that, because of parking and all that. And I get it. But now we have this one. You can park a lot of cars in that park.
Yeah.
We can visit people. God has blown my mind
Amen.
with it. But the 7-month famine was tough, and there's a lot of people in the community. What's the next one? When's the next one? A lot of traction. What's just a couple, like 2 or 3 words that you would say to the audience? Why would they want to check out a Joy Hour?
And 1 or 3 words.
Or just a sentence, or whatever. Why would somebody enjoy the atmosphere?
Well, energy, for one. I'm a big energy guy. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual, right? When you walk in here, the energy is just through the roof.
Right.
You see everyone smiling. It's hard to see that many people in the room smiling.
Right.
You don't see that in a lot of settings. You go to a fundraiser, or your gala, you go to work, you go to work, sporting event, you don't see that many smiles on people's faces. You don't see, and I know this is more than 3 words, but you don't see that many children that happy either, right? You can see this really big 7,000 square foot home, and you drive up to them like, wow, this is real, but you don't know what goes on inside that home. You don't know if that kid or mom or dad are truly happy. And the diversity that's there, right? From age to ethnicity to career backgrounds to choices they have made in life, good and bad. But then bringing that all back to one is the love that anyone would feel there, whether you show up as a volunteer or you show up there because you need life pumped into you, you're going to get it. And you're also able to give it. And no one, I've through all the times we've been there, I've never seen anyone judge anybody. I've never seen anyone talk about somebody when they left.
Right.
And just everybody, all walks of life that come through there. And I'll say this to add to that. Wait until God shows them why they haven't heard about it yet or why they haven't came yet. Because you're gonna feel it when you get there. So, yeah, man,
Love it.
yeah.
Just keep being you and keep spreading it. And I wish we had more time, but that means we're going to do another one of these. And I just think it's important to speak about the things we've been through. I know that we didn't get enough time to kind of get through some of the things you've been through. I've heard them personally, but I'll never forget. And I'm not going to cry. But there was a young man that came to our event, and he's going through something that I couldn't personally say I've been exactly there and I got you on this one. I can talk about alcohol, I can talk about substance abuse, I can talk about adultery, I can talk about a lot of things in my life personally I've been through. But whenever it's a topic that I haven't totally been through, I don't want to fake it. And so that's the other reason we need men and women with this type of heart in the building to be ready for that situation that walks in. And this situation walked in with this young man. And I loved on him and I hugged him. I said, so good to see you. And then for about an hour, I kept looking over during the event and seeing my friend Gerald talk and minister and love on this young man that's in his 20s. And the healing that happened in that young man where he knows he has a safe place, he has a mentor in the community, had nothing to do with Tom. It just was happening in the joy as the bouncy house is going on, as people are doing arts and crafts, as all this other 150, 200 people in the building. I'm looking over there and I'm seeing you two talk. And that changes a life forever.
That story broke my heart.
He knows he's not alone though. He knows. And when that happened, he called a member of the person in the Joy Hour community and said, you guys still doing that? We said, every Wednesday. And that's why I want to get back to every Wednesday. Is so it's a safe place. People just know. Because, you're fine for a few months maybe, and then you're going, I need this. And just having that consistency of every Wednesday, this is what we do. For now, it's once a month. I'm thankful. But to see those type of relationships happen because you heard the need, you had some experiences that were similar, and you were able to literally change a life. And it took you an hour, but that's what you do. And there's other people in the community that are seeing that, and So if this reaches you, and your experience is what you've been through, know that out of your pain comes a purpose. Joy Hour creates an atmosphere where you can do that and just listen to people's need, and then you go, you know what? On this one, I got you. On that one, he's got you. On she's got you. That's our job, is to love each other enough to say, I'm listening, and I see you, and I hear you, and let's go over here and sit down, or hey, let's meet tomorrow. Let's talk tonight. All these relationships keep getting deeper and go longer throughout the week that I know nothing about. People are now calling each other. People are saying, I'm having a bad day. Where are you at? People are going on hikes. They're going on lunches. They're connected in a deeper way where they truly connected at Joy Hour, but then it goes way deeper. And I don't even know what else is going on in the community because of those initial connections where real talk happened. So we need more volunteer. We need more people with the heart that just naturally your whole life becomes service work to others, and others are it's what we do.
That is. So, yeah, his story touched me big, man. I was in his shoes a couple of times. And Brother Griffin, God, I didn't do it. And still here. So that was God talking to him through me in that moment. But I tell you this on our way out, we love you guys.
Love you.
You be safe out there. And don't let anything or anybody ruin your day today, tomorrow, or ever. Keep pushing. It's hard out there. We know it. But when you truly become your authentic self, your life will free up in so many ways. But keep pushing. God bless you. We love you.
Connection, not isolation. We love you. You're never alone.
Amen.
Reach out.